Hello and welcome. This is Eagle Eye 621, and what you see behind me is an easy iron farm for Java 1.16. I know it looks pretty simple back there. You may be able to do this just from seeing that, but do be sure to stick around so I can go over some of the specific distances and measurements to make sure that you don't have any issues, as well as some potential troubleshooting depending on which version you are making this in, to make sure that you don't have any issues. Now, this farm here is again optimized for simplicity. This is not going to max out the best possible rates from an iron farm, but it is decently close to those rates, and again, very easy to make. So let's take a look at the materials that you need to build this, and they are sitting here in this chest right here. And some of these materials are going to be interchangeable, and some of them are obviously things you can't get in survival, like your zombie spawn egg and 3 villagers. You're going to have to get those from the main world and drag them into place, and the materials are not that substantial. And again, I will show you some alternatives as well, depending on how you want the design to look. Let's get these in the inventory and get started, but before I do, let me take a moment to ask you to just scroll down and hit that subscribe button. It really does help out the channel a lot. So now the first thing you're going to want to know is on your distances and how far away you want this farm to be from any other farms and any other blocks. Iron Golems can spawn in a 16 by 13 by 16 radius, and that is, in a square. And that is from these villagers right here. And that square box is centered on the villagers. So you're going to want to find a space that's at least 16 blocks away. And you're going to want to come 16 up, even though you don't need to go all that high. And this is number 16, and it's a little bit higher than you're going to need, but just to make sure that you don't miscount or any of the terrain gets in the way. And why don't we very quickly change this to noon so we don't have any issues and you can see very clearly exactly what's going on. Now you are going to want to destroy all of these down here, and from this block, which is 16 up from the ground, and it's in a box that is going to be far enough away from everything, you're going to want to go up 7. So this is the first one, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Now we also then want to break out all of these blocks in the middle, and from this block right here, you want to make a plus sign that extends 2 out in each direction, like that. Which means that when you fill this in, we're making ourselves a 5 by 5 box. We're using full blocks right now. Some of these blocks will be replaced, but we just want to make sure that we get our spacing correct. From this block down here, you want to go 1 on either side, and this is where you're going to put 3 beds, just like that. And you can destroy these blocks that are underneath, but we're going to use this one in a moment. In fact, right now, we can just measure out 2 just like that, and this is where our composter is going to go. And now we can destroy all of those blocks. It's important to note that this specifically is for 1.16. They made a very important change where these villagers can spawn golems without having a workstation. They do, however, need to sleep. So now let's continue with our design. You're going to need to make some walls around here, and here is going to be one of your first choices. You can either use 2 tall glass, like this, which is perfectly fine if you want to be able to see through the entire farm, or you can use 2 of these solid blocks, but then you must add a bottom half slab on top. The idea is that this needs to be non-spawnable. So glass is non-spawnable, or these bottom half slabs are non-spawnable. So that is your choice. You can do this all the way around the entire spawning square, and that's what this is right here. You can get rid of those corners as well, but I'm just going to leave them so you can see what's going on and for the ease of just building. Now you're going to pick one of these corners, it doesn't really matter which, and you're going to add on an extra set of blocks just like this. So on one corner, it's coming up 3. And the reason you're going to do that on 3 is so that you can add your signs like this. Let me just show you this will work even if you have those half slabs like that. And then one under here. And what that's going to do is leave a perfect pocket for your lava to go in. Don't put that in there just yet because you don't want to have any accidents while you're still building the rest of this farm. Now with this being your corner that you're going to collect from, you're going to break out this block right here and you're going to put a hopper there. And you're going to want that hopper to point into a chest, and that will automatically, of course, collect the iron and the poppy flowers. That does mean in this corner, you are going to add your water bucket. You'll see how that will nicely push everything over into the corner, meaning that wherever the golem spawns, it'll be forced right over here. And it is tall enough that this pocket of lava will burn it, but it will not burn the items. Those items will then fall into this hopper and be collected in this chest. Now you're going to want to replace some of these blocks that we just put down with glass blocks. Again, the idea is to make them non-spawnable, and that includes this block right here, as well as this one, and this one, and this one, and come around the corner, and one more. And you're going to mirror that on this side, where these blocks right here become non-spawnable blocks. And the reason that you want to do that has to do with the golem spawning and making this failure proof. Now there is some error in the current snapshot where the golem will be able to spawn on these non-spawnable blocks. As you can see right there, the golem did fall out because it spawned on a non-spawnable block. The idea is if these were blocks that it could spawn on, it would spawn partially in this wall and the water would just push it out to the side, which happened right there. But when they fix that bug in the full release, only the golem can spawn on these blocks here as well as this, and these blocks are sufficient that they will push the golem into the center before they push them out to the side. And you have that issue once the golem is out. It will have a problem in breaking your farm until it travels away far enough or until it gets killed by a mob. If you want a very simple, very down and dirty fix to this, you can just sprinkle some lava buckets all around the base of your farm, or you can funnel the golem back into with some water streams into this farm, and that will make sure that if the golem does fall outside, it will get killed. But again, in the final release, that won't be an issue anymore. So now that your killing chamber is set up, now you need to get your villagers and your mobs here, and you also want to prepare a space for them. Again, we can choose here to use glass blocks, and we're coming one block up from the bed itself. And even though it's the same block, because this is where it is, the villagers won't be able to jump out of this spot. So now you can use your glass blocks to build around this, or again you can use your full blocks, but if you do that, you do need to top it off with a bottom half slab. Again, we are making this spawn proof so that the iron golem won't spawn on these blocks and again destroy your farm. Now you're going to want to come at this bottom half slab level and make basically a little screen that looks just like that. And the height is extremely important because we are going to now put a zombie in here and some villagers in here. So now you can get your villagers in here in a number of different ways. You can make a ladder to just carry them up by making stairs like this. You can make a minecart to drag them. You can put them in a water stream. However it is that you do want to get your 3 villagers up here. Creative mode, this is a lot easier. I can just spawn them in with the eggs, and you will see that they will go to sleep, which is very nice. Now you're going to come out from here twice, and you're going to put this one block underneath. It's important to note again that these are bottom half slabs, and even though that looks like one block, you can see that is a bottom half slab, and this is where your zombie is going to go. And you can do this in a number of different ways by, again, using a staircase to lure a zombie up here. You can use some trap doors in order to help him fall in. But once he falls in, that's when you're going to want to put that right there, and that will keep the zombie in. And again, this is a little bit easier in creative mode because I can just spawn that zombie. Again, you're going to want to name tag it. Something like that would be a very good name tag to use. And you can hear already that we have an Iron Golem spawn in just that fast. Now, the reason that we have to be very careful with all of this height is because of the line of sight. So if I click F3 and B, you can see the red line is the eyesight, and these villagers will continue to roam around and run because they can see the zombie from the back side of the bed. But as they're running, and I can speed this up a little bit by jumping in here and pushing some of them, once they are pressed up against the foot of the bed, and that's another Iron Golem spawn, again, just that fast, the villagers will sleep for just a moment, and they're not going to cooperate because this is on camera, so of course they're going to make things difficult, but they will go to sleep for just a second. I can show this a little bit easier if I throw in an extra block, just like that. And you can see that they will go to sleep, but then because when they sleep, their eye level is again able to see the zombie, they will wake up in a panic, and that panic is what is going to cause the golems to spawn. So this allows for them to sleep temporarily, but then wake up and call for more of the Iron Golems. Again, you can see that the Iron Golem spawned in a non-spawnable block, and again, that will be fixed in the full release, I trust. So that's all there is to it, and whenever you need, you come here for your iron, and of course all the poppies that you can then convert into bone meal. This is obviously expandable. You can turn this into a double chest. You can add more hoppers to this in order to allow for even more chests and more storage, as this will fill up a lot faster than you think. If you leave this in your spawn chunks, it'll run continuously while you're in the overworld, and if you are on a server and you leave it in the spawn chunks, it will even run while you sign off. Again, you can see just during this video how fast these Iron Golems are spawning. So even though it may not be fully optimized to get every single golem as quick as possible, it is still extremely fast and will certainly provide for your needs in your single player or even in a small multiplayer world. Now you can of course make more of these if you need more iron. Just remember those parameters. It needs to be 16 blocks, just to make it very easy on yourself. Just think about a 16 block square from the center of these villagers. So what you can do if you want to make more of them, you either start right here on this block and count out 16 in that direction, and that becomes the opposite wall, or you can just go straight up another 16 blocks and make another one that way, and just leave it be. Do not forget to name tag this guy or he will despawn. You can also throw objects at him. If a zombie picks up an object, it also will not despawn. And this will run continuously in the background with absolutely no input from you, except to come clean out the chest whenever you need that iron. If you found this video helpful, I would appreciate a like. If you found it interesting, maybe even tell one of your friends. And for more videos like this, do be sure to subscribe. I will note that YouTube has given me a join button. You'll find that right next to the subscribe. There are a couple of perks if you're interested in supporting me in that way. You can find out by clicking on that button. Thanks for stopping by.